Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's first time viewer. My name is Jeannie and this is DIY with Jeannie. And today we're going to make a little vacation notebook, traveler's journal, just a little journal that you carry around in your purse. We're going to do it out of file folders. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. Got a little pocket in the front, and I have two pockets inside, and then I've got my little mini composition book that I also put in. Now, this has no decoration on it. I wanted to show you how to build it, and then on the next time, we'll go over how to decorate it, how to make it look beautiful and wonderful, and put our fasteners on it and everything. But today I wanted to show you how we go about making it. So let me set this off to the side. Now, I am going to keep all of the scraps from our file folders, and right now I'm showing you on a manila folder. There are beautiful folders that you can get. Here is one set. It's just a solid color. I have another set that I'm not positive where I put it at the moment, that has stripes, and so you can get all kinds of decorative file folders to use for this. So I'm going to show you on this plain manila envelope. We're going to start with, I left the length. So the length is, well, I cut off the edge, but the length is about 11.5 inches. And then the skinny side is 7 3/4. So that's, I cut off the curved piece. And depending on whether it's the front or the back, depends on how much I cut off. So, we have that. So now we're going to put our score lines in. And we are going to do our first score line at 2.5 inches. So, you just want to mark that score line in. And I found the faster you do it, the more likely you are to stay online. And if you don't have a scoring tool, you can mark it with a ruler, and then the easiest way I know of to fold it straight is to set your ruler down and fold against the ruler. And I'll show you that in just a second. So we've got it at 2.5. We want to then do 1/4 of an inch, so 3/4 of an inch. Come on. Does not want to stay in that line. So 3/4 of an inch, and that's it for that side. Now we're going to flip it, and we want to do it at 4 1/4, at 4 3/4, so I've got a 1/2 inch here, at 9 inches, because that's another 4 1/4 here, 1/2 inch from there, and then leave the front. So that is all that we have to do right this second. Now, the next thing we're going to score is these 1/2 inches down here on the bottom. We want to score them in half. So what I do is I just flip it, line it up so that it is lined up anywhere you want it to be. So I'm doing a 7 and 7.5, and I'm going to score just to that first score mark. I'm going to score a line, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Score a line here in that little 1/2 inch. Now you don't have to do this. This is just allowing me a little bit of room to fold. It's adding me some stability in my fold so that I'm getting a straight line, not a crooked line. Now we are done with this. So let me put it away. If you've never seen one, they actually fold up pretty small, so they do actually fit in a smaller area. Put that away. Now we're going to take, and let me show you what I meant about the ruler. If you'll line it up on your lines, so what I'm doing is basically putting it on my score line and just fold up against the ruler. That will help you fold a straight line. So we're going to fold that in. Now we have a 1/4 of an inch past that I want to fold. And that takes a little bit of wiggle because it's not a very big area that I'm folding. So we're going to fold it. And this little spatula I got at the Dollar Tree. It's now $1.25. But I have a number of these. I buy them, I almost buy one every single time I go, just to throw in my drawer so that I always have these. And I love them. And now we're going to do the ones that we folded across the bench. Don't worry about those partial folds, that partial one that you did, because we're going to come back to that. It's going to be needed in just a few minutes. And if you have a bone folder, that's basically what this is. Or if you have a Cricut, that's what this is. It's the little tool, the spatula that they use. I'm not sure what the actual name is. So there we have all of our folds. So on here, I want to cut just inside that line, straight up, that furthest line, the first line. So we're just going to cut it up to the first line that we folded across. On this one, same thing. We're going to cut the first line. And I'll show you why. This is going to help us, and we can actually cut that onto the second line. That's what I really needed to do, is cut to the second line, not the first. Second line. Okay. Now, this piece that I folded, I got that little mark in the middle. So it's going to be folded up, and then that little mark, that little fold, is going to fold down. So we are basically accordion folding this little pocket. Fold that down, and then fold it back up so that we have a roomier pocket. So see, we've got a little accordion. And now what I'm going to do is, you can glue along both sides, and I think that's what we'll do with this one. I'm still going to give myself a little more room at the bottom. I'm looking for the tool I used to put the glue on. If I can't find it, then we'll just use a different tool. And that looks like what we're going to do. Okay, we are going to take our awl, which is just a pointy tool, and since I just want a fine line, I am just going to run it along this edge over here, a little inside, and we want to do the same thing on the other edge. So we're going to do the same thing right over here. Don't worry about getting glue on that bottom part, because we don't want glue on that bottom part. We're not gluing it down to anything. We want it there so that we can make our pocket a little, we could stick a pin in it or something if we needed to. Or anything that we might pick up from our trip or from our journeys. Keep receipts, do our thing. But it's a very small pocket, so keep that in mind. So we're going to line that up on this edge and that edge. Let's just stick it down. Ah, got away from me. There we go. We just want to hold it in place till it dries a little bit. So we're just going to stick it down. See, now it's nicely stuck. We'll let it dry. We won't try to do anything to it for now. Now, here, we want to cut straight across here, because that is going to be folded inward. But again, we don't necessarily need it here. So I'm going to cut it at an angle, and I'm going to cut this little piece off. So, see how I slightly angled that? And then this side, I am going to angle like it was a folder, and I don't have a folder in here, but I can show you on this. I can't show you on that one, I'll show you on this one. So see how I cut it at an angle so it's more folder-like, so that you can slide things in at an angle. So we're just going to cut that just a little bit down to that first fold line. We're gonna leave that one the way it is. But I do have to cut that little square out, just like I cut this little square out. Let's go in, cut that at an angle. And then we'll cut that little piece. Now, my paper folding is inspired by other people. The Posh Paper Lady, huge inspiration. Septeria 18, huge inspiration. But this is my design. I did this without the benefit of someone having done it first. Now, the little pieces, remember we folded that, we put that mark. So now I'm just accordion folding that. I'm going to accordion fold this one. And we are going to glue them up so that we get that boxed edge down here. So it will glue just barely at this edge. I'll go ahead and glue it down and I'll let you see. There's that. And all I'm doing is using the glue that's in the cap. I'm using Aileens tacky glue. It's not what I always use. Normally I will use a thing called reptile glue. I love that stuff. That stuff will stick to anything. It was actually developed for tile work, like bathroom and kitchen tile work. So it is super sticky stuff. So now I'm going to set that in there. Press it down a bit. Make sure that you keep your bottom square, because that's the whole purpose, is so that we have a pocket that we can put stuff in. Again here, and I'm just going along the outer edge, not doing a whole lot. And this one, I had thought I was going to use the envelope journal that we made for my vacation this summer, and I decided that I didn't want to. I wanted something different, and so this way I'll have a little journal to write in and pockets to put stuff in, and I will keep some stickers and things that are in my little pockets that I can use during my journey, and I have some stamps and things like that. So this little guy nicely stuck. That one's stuck, and there, Bob's your uncle. And then they make these little, and we're going to cover it later, these little mini composition books. Get yourself back down there. So while this one's drying, we will go back to the other one that I have made. Leave that there. We'll go back to this one. Now what I've done, I have just taken a rubber band, put the book on, and so you just, but I'll find my elastic banding so that it's bigger. But then you just wrap the band around, and it can hold your little book, but that way your book can come in and out. If you don't want to do that, and you don't have to, you can use these pockets for your book. So that is two ways that you can do this. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put this in there for stability at the moment, because I want to put our fastener on. And I am not going to cover this completely in paper. I'll probably put some stamps on it and things like that. So I am going to go ahead and show you the fastener. And again, Dollar Tree, love Dollar Tree, it's my favorite place. And we're going to use Velcro. So let's put our Velcro together. It's easier to place it at the same time. So we're just going to set that in there in the middle of where our flap would be. Make sure we've got it all set the way we want. And we're just going to press really well I'm going to take my bone folder, press in. Now, you'll notice on this one, I left this side open. It's more of a little side pocket. And in the one we just did, we sealed that pocket on both sides. Either way is fine. So now, there is our Velcro pieces. And I put them in pretty far. It's not right on the edge. So what I'll probably do here is do a tie on it as well, just to make sure that I keep everything in there the way I want them. But there is our little book, and I think it's adorable. I think there's a lot of uses that we could get out of this, and we will decorate it. I'll show you how I'm going to put it all together. I'll probably use the one we just made to go over the decorations. It took me, this is my second file folder. You can make 2 on every file folder. So here's one. And what I did here, so that you know my accidents, I made it a 1/2 inch down here. And that made, and a 1/2 inch here. But when I did that, 1/2 inch here makes it 1 inch wide. And I only had a 1/2 inch here. So that was my mistake. But one thing I did do is I made my accordion fold out of the extra. So that's something that you can do if you don't want to play with it the way I did. So that's something that you can do. So that's one. So this was my second one. Should tell you something. This was my first one, which it came out okay. You know, there was no big major issues with it. It does exactly what I wanted, but I didn't make the inside folders big. I made them to where basically they were flat. So it's not finished, but it does have all my measurements. So as I changed and tweaked, all of my measurements on here changed and tweaked. So if you do want to come up with your own, then that would probably be a good idea. I will put the measurements down. No, I won't. What I'll do is I'll figure out something so that you'll have the pattern. I think I'm trying to make a blog, and if I get my blog together, which it's a journey, but that's one of the first things I'll do. And if you really want to know the measurements, just send me a message, a comment that you would like the measurements, and I will jot them down. If I remember, I will get them on here at some point, but I'm not going to get it done before I have to upload this. So anyway, there's our little journal. This is just one type of closure you can use. There are so many others, and I will show you those as we move along. But that is our little project for today, and on our next one we will decorate this little baby, and I'll show you how those paper clips could also come in handy, because that paper clip that we made, the decorative paper clip, could be used as our little binder. So that is something to think about. So we will come back to this, and we will decorate it and make it all beautiful and get it put together next time. And we will also, why is there a screw? I need to figure out what's lost a screw. And we will also be sewing some hand towels coming up, probably on Saturday. So hope to see you again. Thank you for spending a little time with me today. I do appreciate your spending your time with me. It does mean a great deal to me. And I will see you next time. Please thumbs up, leave me a like, leave me a comment, anything. And it helps my algorithms. And I am just starting out, and I would love to have our little channel grow. So thanks a lot, and have an amazing week.